Hello and welcome back to Factorio, and in this episode we are going to move the power. Le power shall not remain. I'm not sure what word I was trying to say there and in which language, but some noise was coming out from my mouth. But let's just move the power. We are going to disconnect everything. Let's disconnect everything. Let's just boom, remove all the power poles. There we go. Now, we are not producing any electricity at all at this point, but that is fine. That is absolutely fine, because we are going to take this, we are going to move it and make it even better. Because it isn't that good where it is right now, to be honest. It is a bit in the way. It is not necessarily in the way, but it's sort of in the way because it doesn't allow us to expand easily. And what I need to do is actually, what I need to do is this. I'm going to have to what I need to do is this. I need to move this splitter over here and have this here for the time being until we actually have resources to like remove this whole thing and just do whatever we feel like. Let's see. Now, where do we want it to go more precisely? Because like somewhere here-ish is, well, it's good to know where you want it, like where you kind of want it, but at some point you need to pinpoint the location, and I think we are at the point where we need to pinpoint, which means we actually have to make decisions. What is making decisions? It's annoying. You're actually going to have to decide on stuff. Thankfully I don't have problems with that, but yeah, it is still, you have to actually do stuff, so. But let's see where we can put this. Where is the shop pump up? There we go, there you are. And we are going to just put this one right here. And we are going to take this one out a bit because of a few inconveniences, like no good shoreline, and we don't want it to be too close to the water as well. It might be nice to be able to like walk through and stuff. Let's see, where do we have, there you went. And let's put this one, no, not two. There we go. These are just to make me, like, enable me to know where stuff is going to go, basically. Now, the belt is going to go like that. Or is it? Or is it going to go in, like, in here? And then split off to wherever it needs to go. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's a terrible idea, but it's an idea. Let's go with that idea, regardless if it's terrible or not. Let's just bring this belt straight down, shall we? There we go. That should be good enough. We have the steam engines. Let's go over here first so we can reach properly. Okay. And there we go. Now I am going to keep on using the small electric poles because they are perfect when it comes to distance for these. I feel like it's usually a big waste to use any other power poles for at least the steam engines. Other power setups is a different story, but these, I feel like there's no point in using anything else for the steam engines, so I'm not going to use anything else for the steam engines. Now let's put all the coal in like this, and let's put in the power. That should mean the power isn't doing anything because we're not connected to anything. Let's connect stuff to it. Like that, and like that, and like that. That should be everything. Should be. Yeah, the coal is coming in. It is prioritizing going to the power stuff. Let's put in as many. Probably do this. There we go. Keep like making sure we mine as much coal as possible is going to be beneficial. Because the higher the throughput, the better the power stuff is being supplied, the better. Now we do need to put down the feeders as well. If you don't do that, it's not going to get any coal other than the coal we actually put into it. So we need to have something that feeds it. Now what I'm gonna have to do is actually put more down, quite a lot more down. Yeah, sure, you can have the wood, that's fine. Steel. Now at this point we have the steam engine. You start with them, so you have the steam engines, and at this point we have actually unlocked the steam turbine. And you might be tempted to use this one, because if we look at the steam engine, it says maximum power output 900 kilowatts. And the steam turbine says maximum power output 5.8 megawatts. Now, this is the thing, the temperature does matter. If the maximum temperature isn't like if the steam turbine doesn't get 500 degrees temperature steam, you will not gain more power. you will only consume more fluid. So, because the steam engine consumes 30 a second of the steam, while a steam turbine consumes 60 a second. So it is a waste to use the steam turbines if you don't have nuclear power. Because the steam turbines is for nuclear power, it's not for like a more advanced like steam boiler setup. So you might be tempted to try them. Just like remove the steam engines for steam turbines, and I'm going to say no, sorry, that's not how it works. You do not want to like change out your steam engines for steam turbines. Let's see, we should get more iron, because we basically don't have any. We put down one of them, right? Right. Yes, we did. We need... that's 4, 8, 7. We need 7. So 5 and 2. There we go. So let's put these ones down. Let's shoot the trees away. There we go. Now let's extend this a bit. And the power poles. And the pipes to actually get some water. And there we go, we have more power. Now, we shouldn't have any problems at this point when it comes to the power. We have moved it so it's out of the way. So it's not in the way for a bunch of other stuff. And this means we actually can expand it more easily. We need to just grenade a bit of the forest and we are fine. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can do 2 more on each side. Basically, those 2 are empty. Now, we need to get this shit up and running at this point. It is way too late. We have been doing this for quite some time, but train networks takes time. I'm sorry to say, if you want the train network which you don't want to rebuild because you couldn't be bothered with building it properly from the beginning, which I strongly urge you to do. If you couldn't be bothered with doing that, then you will have trouble when it comes to your train networks. That's just how it's going to be. That's simple. It's as simple as that. Like you will have trouble if you don't build it in a certain way, like in a structured manner. Even if it's not like I have done it, even if you have your own system, that is absolutely fine. This is just how I build. It's not the like quote unquote correct way of doing it. It's just a way of doing it. But I strongly urge you to have like a structured system for how you build it, because it will be a lot easier if something goes wrong or you want to expand or anything really. Now, you don't need to do anything of that. You can just put down rails and a bunch of signals to make space for more trains, and you can have all your trains on one track. You don't even need to do what I'm doing with 2 tracks with them going, having directed lanes, and oh, you don't need to do that. You can just let it be built as you want it to be built, and you can just like build however you want, whenever you want. You don't need to just like, you don't have to build in a structured system. I just recommend doing it because it will save you a lot of headaches. Especially if you build like you're doing a lot of trains. If you're doing like a train or 2, then it's probably fine. You don't probably not going to notice any hiccups or like problems, or at least not any major problems. But once you start getting like somewhere between 5 to 10 trains, then you need a bit of a system to actually make stuff work. So that is sort of the reason why I do this, because I like having a lot of trains. I think in one playthrough I had something like 20 trains going at once. That is nowhere near any like mega base players have. It's 20 trains for like a very big mega base is not that much. So but here we are getting our first load of coal coming in. We are going around into the stacker. Our station is clear, so we're going to go on ahead and we are going to start unloading, and once it's empty we are going to go back to load up, and then we are going to come back here and empty ourselves out. Now, as you can see, this here is fueling the train. The rest is slowly but surely filling out. Now, what I probably should do is try to do a bit of I should probably try to balance it on both sides, to be honest. Now, it is getting balanced, it's just since this isn't on both sides as quick as possible, it means it's going to take a while until it is of any major use. Now, we are going to have to, let's do this. I'm going to remove a bunch of belt at this point. It sucks I'm gonna have to do this, but better to do it now than gonna have to do it later. So, because this needs to get fixed. Can I do this? Nope. Okay. That means we need this basically to come one out. Like this. And then this one is going to have to be like that and like that. Now the rest I think should be able to go like this. Like that. That should be fine. And now this is not necessarily something that is very aesthetically pleasing, but it is something we need to do because, yeah, if we want to like unload in a good way, we actually need to do this. Let's see. Now this one might be a bit, at least this one is easier. I think this is going to have to go out a bit. Gonna have to be like this, and then like this, and like this, maybe. Like we can do something like that, snake around, and no, that's not how it's going to be. It's going to be like that. Yeah, we could do this. Like that. That should work. And this could go like this. Nope, doesn't work like that. Then there's no point. It's better to just go around. Yeah. Not necessarily super like good looking, but I think this is perfect for this series where we are going spaghetti-ish, like where the belts are going all over the place in weird like ways and stuff. I think this is perfect. There we go. We get rid of our coal. And what we are going to do is take these two and extend them as much down as we can. Now, what we need to do is a bit of a priority system here where we prioritize anything that comes from these ones first. So what we are going to do is to say that, okay, you don't need to prioritize anymore. Just go 50-50. But over here, we are going to have a priority by saying that anything that's input from over here is going to come first. That means anything that comes from these two is just going to fill up whatever space they can. And there we go. This means that we will get coal to our power network, prioritized from these over here, but it's not dependent on them because the coal from the station is still supplying the power, regardless of what happens to the miners. And I think maybe we should do a output priority of this one instead. Output and input. Now input's no reason to do it because it's just one input. The input here is just anything that comes from the miners. It should be prioritized. Now, let's take a look. We probably should extend this out to its maximum size. Let's do that. Let's shoot some trees first. That's always something you have to do if you want to build any power setup. You have to shoot trees, not cut them down or mow them down. No, you have to shoot them down. There we go. That's a bit more space, and we can fit, what is it, 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can have 5 and 8. There we go. So we have 2 there and 2 there, and we have a bit there and a bit there. There we go. And let's hook up the water. Let's extend the fuel line and whoops, there we go. There we go. We now have as many boilers and steam engines as you can have per offshore pump. It was several episodes ago at this point, but I if you remember, it was probably like when we set up the power for the first time. Ooh, biters. Yeah, the biters does not like this, as you can see. You're going to have to fix this, but yeah, we should take a bit of lasers and go up there. Yeah, we should do that. But if you remember, when we set up the power in like episode 1 or 2, if I remember correctly, I said I would show you how the power setup would be for one offshore pump. And the thing is, what you can have one offshore pump and 20 boilers and 40 steam engines. So the ratio is 1:20:40. So 1 offshore pump to 20 boilers to 40 steam engines. So that is basically the ratio. That is how many you can have in one, like in one section, all connected up together. Now, if we put more boilers, the offshore pump wouldn't be able to keep up, and the steam engines wouldn't be getting enough steam. Which means the efficiency would be lowered, and it's going to just waste resources. Now, if we want to make more power, because this is just like this is a certain amount of power. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but it is a certain amount of power. To get beyond this, we need to make another one with its own offshore pump. With new boilers and new steam engines. But with that, we're going to go down to the lasers, pick up a bunch of them, and head off to the coal outpost and make a better defense. Because yes, it's not good enough, I feel. If we take a look at pollution, you can see that the miners over the coal is it's quite red, and the pollution extends quite far, and the biters are consuming a lot of pollution, which is something we don't want them to do, but it's not something we really can do anything about. So let's just take a bunch of lasers and defend the outpost at this point. Now, I don't think we are going to have any problem with defending. It's just if we just let it be, our turrets are going to run out of ammunition, and we are going to get our stuff destroyed, which we don't want. Let's take the car. Let's go up. Now, when you have a bunch of trains, be super careful of where you drive, where you run, where you exist in correlation to any train in any system you make, because they will not stop if you're in the way. They will absolutely wreck your day and destroy everything you hold dear. So if you don't want to die by being killed by getting run over by a train, make sure you keep an eye on the minimap and staying as far zoomed out as humanly possible, and keep your eyes out for anything moving on the track. Because, yeah, the train does not stop for you. You are going to have to stop for the train. Go. We should probably extend it out. This as well. A bit more. I'm not going to do like insane amount of these, I'm going to do some of them, but I feel like I don't want to do too many of them because they are very resource costly. And do they have a drain? They have a drain of 24 kilowatts. It's a lot. It's a lot of kilowatts. Oh, that's a lot. Now, we do want to actually do this. Now, the laser turret is actually... the laser turret is way better than the gun turrets, because the laser turret, not only does it have a lot, like a greater range than the gun turret, it also makes potentially more damage, basically. And it is more resource cost effective because it takes power instead of ammunition. And depending on what ammunition you're using, yeah, it might be a very, very expensive ammunition. Now, this has been a very long episode, I can see, but we are finally, despite the amount of pollution we are producing, we are finally out of the crisis when it came to resources, at least the coal at this point. Since we have coal fixed, we don't have to be as rushed. Since we have power, we can defend, we can make stuff happen. If we didn't have if we didn't have the coal hooked up, we could potentially have been very screwed. But we are going to have to hook up the iron next, because the iron is very low. And with the bases, as you can tell with how the coal one is spreading pollution, you can imagine what the iron one is going to do when it comes to pollution. So expect a lot of expect a lot of laser turrets being put up, and a lot of pollution spreading all over the place. And then we should probably connect up the copper as well. Once we have done that, we should be fine for resources. Then I think it's time to get into a bit of advanced oil processing. But we can't really do the advanced oil processing until we have fixed the resource problem with iron and stone, especially iron, but also copper. The coal one is fixed right now, so that's fine, but we need to, we absolutely need to get iron at this point. But that is going to have to wait until another episode. I'm going to take a bit of a break. I feel like I have accomplished what I wanted. Getting at least one station up and running, I'm going to take a break from the recording. Now, this is going to take a while until it's on YouTube, with how I upload according to a schedule. It's basically one episode a week, and that means this is going to take a while until it gets out, but I wanted to at least get the station up and running, at least one, and get that done. Now, this is a very long episode with me rambling a long time, but I feel like we have accomplished what we were after, we are in a lot better, in a very much better position than we were before. Now, if that was good English or understandable English at all, I'm not sure, but whatever. And then the next objective is to hook up iron and copper, and then it is advanced oil processing, and then we'll see. Probably more science after that, but that is going to have to wait until other episodes. But before that, I can see a place where they are just hammering hard. So we are going to just put this down very, very quickly, because oh, that could have been very badly gone very badly for us. But with that, we are going to have to say thanks for watching, goodbye, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.